We at Value Added in Africa and Forum for the Future recently invited a group of businesses, NGOs and policymakers to an event in the House of Lords in London. We wanted to explore the business case for sourcing African-made products.
I believe there will come a day when we won't talk about ethical fashion anymore. It will just be fashion, because that's what we have to do in the world.
Africa is rich. Africa is not poor. Africa has been producing for export longer than many, many countries.
Africa is so wealthy in terms of its resources.
A continent that produces the best ingredients can also produce the best products.
Africa is moving up the supply chain.
Before we buy a product, we want to know about its quality, where it comes from, and who produces it. Meanwhile, Africa is rising to the challenge.
We're delighted to be here today. Baroness Lola Young of Hornsey is hosting and sponsoring our event, so we're thrilled with that.
In terms of value added, we've got a really important concept here, and I like that term, value added, because it's about ensuring that the people who produce, who make, who feed into the supply chain are treated fairly, treated ethically, but also get some value from that supply chain.
It's a wonderful opportunity to actually start manufacturing in a very, very sustainable way in Africa.
But Africa isn't just producing raw materials, now it's making good quality products.
So I think the fact that we have some very well-known brand names coming today, like TK Maxx, The Body Shop, The Co-op, Arcadia Group, Peros, it means that really we have struck a chord.
I think Africa will always be a very, very important region for Marks & Spencer's due to the variety and the quality of products that we can get from there.
I've come to the session today because I'm quite really interested in learning a little bit more about Value Added Africa and the work that they're doing, and to see what opportunities there could be for my business.
And I'm with Madagascar. We're a chocolate made from bean to bar, packaging included, in Madagascar. So for us, Proudly Made in Africa really embodies what we stand for, which is adding value in Madagascar.
I think in many ways what the Proudly Made in Africa mark represents is something that is increasingly becoming relevant, particularly to the younger millennial consumer.
For many decades it has been argued that trade is more important than aid. Aid in a sense creates dependency, that's one of the criticisms of it, whereas trade is empowering.
We have to empower people to help lift themselves up out of poverty, and that's why value added manufacturing, creating jobs, creating independence for people, financial independence, is the way to go in Africa.
I think the companies that are here to stay or are going to find a really good place in people's hearts going forward are the ones that nail the sustainability.
I think we mustn't underestimate the amount of time and energy it will take to change things. But the more people kind of come together in events like we've had today, the more likely we are to make that change happen.